Yeah.
Oh,
Hi.
oh,
Can you hear
great.
me?
Yes.
Cool. So I'm not going to share any slides. I'm going to kind of just tell a couple of stories. It's kind of like a classic Dan thing. I'm not a science fiction writer, but try to do some like science near term. Just maybe history. That's what I'm going to tell you actually. So let me tell you just a little bit about when I first met Dan. So I met Dan. I was still in grad school. It was I think 2012. He had I think just finished up a stint as um, department head at Penn and was spending a day a week at Princeton. Um, and I got invited to have a meeting with him, and me being a naive grad student, I said, oh, I immediately just launched straight into my PhD research, right? And I spent multiple minutes just talking about this, and Dan, I think very politely was listening and engaged with me on this. But then after a couple of minutes, there was a pause in the conversation, and he just said, "Well, this isn't how I expected this conversation to go." And me being again in this position, I get very nervous and I ask him, "Well, so how did you expect this conversation to go?" And at that point, I heard my first of many Danisms, which was, "Well, I expected to convince you that you need to be a professor and therefore you need to come do a postdoc with me." So I think many of you have probably been in similar situations to this. So I ended up joining the group. It was he convinced me. I actually did both of those things. And when I joined the group, I came in actually to grad school expecting that I was going to do geometric control, so like very fundamental vector field kinds of stuff. Various things happened such that didn't happen. I ended up doing a PhD on sort of foraging behavior and like statistical learning. So very, very different. What I ended up doing in the lab was kind of awesome. This thing of I worked on a couple different projects, but the main one that I want to present here was motivation dynamics, where we basically added the idea here was to really see, okay, how far can we push dynamical systems into decision making? Right. And so the idea that came out of this was this idea of motivation dynamics, where we encoded sort of discrete decision-making behavior into vector fields using the unfoldings of pitchfork bifurcations. And there are a couple of references in the written part of the Festschrift, but I won't get into them here in the interest of time. And I just want to say, this is really, really invaluable for my intellectual development. It's stuff that I still use and think about all the time. And, I just want to thank Dan for really helping me develop and for having such a really powerful lab culture. So thank you. And I'm really enjoying listening to all the talks. So hopefully this will help us get back on schedule. Thank you.